Hey, how y'all doing? It's final update 61 time, and another excuse for not doing the baby's soiled thread just yet. It's a tough one, Andreas. Man, you're sitting up late at night figuring these darn things out, man. I'll get to it. I'll get to it. I just want to show a couple things I got, and then some things I've been playing, and if I don't go too long, I might just pull some things to show. There's so much to show, so many layers of the record collection. But starting with new things, really glad to finally get this David Axelrod's Earth Rot. So it's kind of like the last part of the trilogy, if you want to call it that, the Song of Innocence, the song of the other one, and now Earth Rot. And this is probably my favorite of them, actually. Had it before I got the vinyl. This one is focused on an ecological theme. It's very interesting how these records, nothing has changed. They're just as timely. The message about mankind's destruction of the planet. This is 1970. It still rings completely true here in the year 2011. Great record, David Axelrod. If you don't know, the sophisticated jazz rock. I'm honored, and I'm going to put it in the title too. Thank you, Mr. Fartboy. A while back, I sent Tony, MrFartboy79, a Camel album that I had a double of because I saw he was getting into Camel, and he recently got in touch and wanted to return the favor and actually purchased this for me. And this is a record that I used to have an original of, sold, I think I got money for it, or maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't know what I had at the time, but I've been lamenting it ever since. Whenever I see originals, they cost way too much. But Mr. Fartboy picked this up for me on Phoenix. This is 50 Foot Hose on the Phoenix reissue label. The one that's doing all the cool Japanese psychedelic trip bands. And this is a wonderful repressing. That label is boss. 50 Foot Hose, this album was released in 1968. And it was definitely one of the earliest examples of a rock band trying to incorporate electronics into the sound that I had heard. I'd heard electronic music, like out of computer labs and stuff like that. But this was, to my recollection, and I heard this shortly after it came out, this was the first band that I heard really trying to use the far out sound of electronics right in the middle of the music. The standout track from this album is the last song, Cauldron. Cauldron of Sorrow. It's a classic. It is. I wonder if this is in Glass Orchid Aftermath. I wonder if this record is in your book, because this is an American band. This probably is in that book. I just picked that up. Recently, I had been salivating watching Sonic Mainliner. Excuse me, I do sometimes mess up. I caught that. Sonic Mainliner had done a series of CDs videos where he's showing his records, and he has a lot of really cool Japanese stoner bands. And this Freudian slip where I said CDs I only have some of those on CD. He has a bunch on vinyl, and I was just watering at the mouth. He showed some High Rise, and I lucked out and found this American issue of a Disallow by High Rise recently. I was really happy. Only paid $5.99 for this. Unbroken, sealed, brand new. And this band, it sounds like it's going to come apart at any time. That's kind of what I like about it. And at the risk of, I don't mean this insulting, this is really a compliment. What I like about the Japanese acid rock is so much of it sounds like it's going to just fall apart or just come apart at any time. Or it's just so out there, Or the guy sounds super stoned, And it's like, yeah, That's what I want to hear. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear the real shit. You know what I'm saying? And this High Rise is a great example. These guys sound like they're going to lose it before they finish the song. It's great. High Rise. I think I also saw Grecian Thunder pick up some High Rise recently. So thank you, Sonic Mainliner, for sharing your love of this stuff, paying more attention to it. I'm again mainly focused on picking up a lot of gaps in my prog and psych from the past, but I'm always looking. I love good stoner rock, and the Japanese. Something about the Japanese aesthetic. I love it. Another a recent exchange that I did was with TheInfiniteGroove, and I'll let him explain his end, but he was very, very nice and sent me a copy of Rolling Stone's Goat's Head Soup. He watched my video where I'd shown my Satanic Majesty's Request. I mentioned that the only other Stones album that I was looking for was this one, because this has a couple of my personal favorite Stones moments, I'll say. And I'll tell you what it is. The song, I love this cover also. I love this cover. But the song on here, Winter. Now the song itself is just kind of okay, but it's Mick Taylor's solo at the end. That's sublime. Just played it for the first time in years after finally getting a copy of this. Thank you so much, TheInfiniteGroove. Anthony. People know who you are. I'm sure it's okay to say your name, Anthony. Thank you so much, man. And the solo is as good as I remembered it. It's smooth and emotional and inventive, although he's using the blues-based chromatic intervals. I also like Star, Star, Star off of here. So thank you so much, Anthony. And to make it even better, he sent me an album that I have on CD. I didn't think I'd ever own a copy because I had never had any intention of buying this, but I now have Exile on Main Street. Thank you. Thank you so much. And again, I understand why people love this album. For my personal aesthetic, this is just okay because what is liked about this album, it's not how I party. This type of lifestyle, and frankly, hanging out with people like this, I've only, don't take this wrong. I'm just telling you about me. I can hang out with anybody, but this is not the crowd that I choose. I've grown up in this milieu and had some good and some really bad times too, okay? And so, I'm not a partier per se, and I'm not a drinker. And that music is about partying, and having good life, the good life in that sense, So thank you, Anthony. I now have it. And I listened to it a little bit, and it's like, yeah, again, it's like, this music doesn't reflect my personal aesthetic. I'm happy to have it in my collection. Sometime I'll show my whole Stones collection. I do have a Stones collection. I think that's all new that I have to show right now. But what have I been listening to? Let me just, as I said, now that I can get to everything, I'm listening to records like I haven't in a while, and I pulled out Stomp Yamashita's Come to the Edge. Stomp Yamashita is a world-class percussionist from Japan who aligned himself in the late 70s with Prague, kind of some Canterbury type musicians from England. Had a couple of projects. One of them was this, Come to the Edge. What's cool about this record, it's on Island, and I love Island's different labels. I love Island. They've had many different variations of the label. It's interesting that this album is led by a Japanese because it's African. This music is African rhythms. Very pointedly, very specifically, these compositions are based on African rhythms. Yamashita's a master percussionist. It sounds African. It's great. It's a Japanese guy with a white band for the most part, and they sound African. This is excellent. 24dB sent Jeff and I some discs recently, and I was listening to quite a bit of the stuff because I appreciate it, you know, and don't take that stuff for granted. And some of the Rodelius Inlandish, I don't have. Well, I have it now. I'd like to find it on vinyl. It's beautiful. I agree. 24dB. That's his finest moment. Man, it's beautiful. But it caused me to pull out another one of his solo albums. This is a Rodelius solo album, and let me see if I can pronounce this. Geschenk der Augenblick, gift of the moment. And this pales horribly in comparison to the Inlandish. Now this is nice. It's a promo on Passport, or actually it's on EG. This is nice, mostly solo piano. But it just, my reaction to it was to listen a little more, and then I took it off and went back to Inlandish. That is gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. I have to just again share how much I am a Boris fan, and this got pulled out again. Heavy Rocks. I get Boris. You know, there's something really on the edge of just being out of it about their music. It almost sounds like, we don't care, you know. That's kind of cool. I like that, so I was playing that. When I was at Jeff's, I showed you that I picked up this Grinder Man picture disc, but I hadn't opened it yet, so I want to show the disc. It's very nice. That's not a label. That's inside. Can you see with the light shining on? Yeah, the black spot inside is the part of the picture. It's not a label on the record. And I've always liked Nick Cave. He's one of those people that he fell out of my favor. You know, when Birthday Party first hit America, when I first saw the record, it was on 4AD. I grabbed him because it just looked extreme, and I'm always interested in the edge, you know, and bats bite. I loved it, you know. So it's like I'm coming full circle on that stuff. Just right quick, I don't have this on vinyl, but this is immensely fantastic. This is the Melvins with Lustmord, Pigs of the Roman Empire. I was playing this after watching Cool Ranch Dressing's A to Z. Melvins and Lustmord. One of the masters. He's done a lot of soundtrack work since his beginnings in industrial dark drone and dark ambient music. This collaboration with Melvins really works. This is heavy and dark, and it just sucks you in right away. Just sucks you right in. That's great. An old krautrock band that I've never seen this record within my reach price-wise since it came out, but I have this wonderful CD reissue, and that's Zoll Caravan. Zoll Caravan. This is a krautrock must. Zoll Caravan. Motherfuckers GmbH is the name of the record. There it is. You can see that's the name of the day. That's the name of the record. Motherfuckers GmbH, yo. This is a kraut jazz rock. This is you know what I'm saying? You dig in the German style, and you want the heavy stuff. Bam! This is awesome. Wish I could find it on vinyl within less than $100. I have not seen it reissued. It may be, but I have not seen a reissue. But I was playing this, and so I want to throw that out right quick. I'm at 14 minutes. What else can I just grab that I actually was playing with? Well, I was listening to some Scott Walker, and Scott Walker is just amazing. I just pulled these right quick. I was listening to Scott's first album, Montague Terrace. Side 1 is just fantastic. Scott Walker, fantastic. Scott 2, I mean, let's see. Best of Both Worlds. Oh my God. The Amorphous Humphrey Plug. Plastic Palace People. What an incredible song. Come Next Spring. Jackie. Scott Walker is, it's been said, but yeah, the man is a genius. This is just killer. Scott 3. Rosemary. It's Raining Today. God, dog, talk about some good songs. If You Go Away. Scott 3. This is just some of the best music. Some of the best music. And then we get to Scott 4. Boy Child. Man, this album. I'm getting a little goosebumpy on my arms just thinking about what I hear and what I feel when I play this. My albums are not originals. These are 4 Men with Beards. Beautiful reissues. Beautiful reissues. I wish I had Climate of Hunter on vinyl. I do have it. But I do have Tilt. And I'm telling you, you just keep going with Scott. Now he's done left the arena with this. And it's like you're either with him or you're not when it comes to this. This is masterful work. This is masterful sound work and songwriting. And Scott was just kind of like saying, well, I just don't give a shit. I gotta do it. I gotta do this. I have to do this. I so understand that because the work continued with his last album. And this is, I think, a masterpiece, The Drift. And I do agree, Cool Ranch, folks, Cool Ranch Dressing, y'all showed this. Whew! This ain't no playing around, okay? You want to find out if your stereo works? You want to hear some sounds? The Drift is fantastic. Now this is a great pressing of it, the double album. All the lyrics in a big booklet. Had to get this on the vinyl. Scott Walker was tripping on Scott recently, so wanted to share that. Last thing I want to say is I want to go back to my thank you to Anthony Infinite Groove and Tony MrFartboy. Anthony's coming at me. I love it. My brothers. Shout out to my sisters too. You know, Sid and Artist Master, and I just Frithza71 just started catching her videos. Peace to all of y'all. I'll see ya.